everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. So today I am going to be doing a part 2 of my favourite makeup of 2022. So if you haven't seen my previous video, I spoke about my primers, foundations, concealers, blush and highlighters, and so in this video I'm going to talk about specifically on my eyeshadow palettes and my lip products. So I have a lot to talk about. I know I'm wearing the same clothes in my last video. I'm filming at the same time. Make sure you're subscribed because the next video after this will be doing this look, because I'll be talking about and using each product, my individual favourite products of this year. So let's go on to eyeshadow palettes, and this is in no particular order because it'd be far too difficult for me to kind of make an order for some of this. So let's just go in first with the Beauty Crop Vitamin Bay mini eyeshadow palette. So I got this part of like a mystery box. I think I wanted to try it for ages. Beauty Crop are one of my favorite kind of brands out there. I recently picked up another mystery box where I finally get to try their Glow Milk highlighter, so I'll be using that in a video very soon. But this eyeshadow palette is mini and powerful. I think in one look I did use all of the shadows, because obviously I would start off with like this one, then deepen up the edges, and then kind of go in with the deeper looks, and then maybe use that as an inner corner highlighter. It's just very small, but it is so good. It reminds me of the e.l.f. mini eyeshadow palette. It's not within the same price range, because I think this is probably about maybe £10 and those are £4, but you get a bit more going for your buck with this one, so I absolutely love it. Next, I've been loving my Colourpop Clay It Cool. This is probably one of the perfect looking eyeshadow palettes I've ever got. So I recently saw someone review this. Who reviewed it? I think it was Addie Grains. I don't know if I'm ever pronouncing her name. She reviewed it and I was like, how have I not heard of this palette? Because I'm a big Colourpop fan and I try and buy for them, not as much, but I still buy a lot from them. But I deliberately purchased this palette and picked up a couple of other things. This is very reminiscent of the Patrick Tar palette that I really want to get, which I will hopefully pick up one day. But in the meantime, this is absolutely amazing. It's got some beautiful colours that are right up my street. I still need to try this cream shade in a look because I'm just very kind of like not sure how to use it, and I've seen people use it, but for like my eyelids can be very oily and probably would separate very quickly. But I've been using the Urban Decay eye potion a lot recently, so I might kind of see how they work on top of each other. But this has been such a great palette. I don't know if you can still buy it, but I've been loving it so much this year. Talking of Colourpop, the Star Wars palette, this really kind of blew my mind because I thought it was so good compared to what I thought it would be. And I know Pat McGrath have just come out with their one. I'm waiting for my delivery, so yes, I did pick up 2 things from that collection because how can I not, being an avid Star Wars fan that I am. But in the meantime, using this palette, I love it. I still have my Darth Vader one. I have I think I do have my Grogu one, but that kind of broke a little bit. And this one I've been absolutely loving. Like, this red tone has been so damn gorgeous, but I just love the way how everything works together. I did pick up a couple of other products in the collection, but I think the eyeshadow palette for me was the one that stood out. The lipstick was great as well, the Darth Vader one, and then I think it's like not the liquid, but like the jelly eyeshadows. They were nice, but I don't feel like it gave me much compared to how much I love the palette. And just the packaging is so damn good. Everyone, whenever they do a collab with like a Star Wars collab, they always do stuff for A New Hope, which I think is great, like no problem at all. But there are other ones that you could maybe go for, maybe Empire. So hopefully in the future people do an Empire one. But this is a great and surprising palette. Next, I will talk about Revolution. So again, this is a big surprise because I rarely talk about Revolution in my favorites anymore, because everything is kind of the same and it's so boring and just reminiscent of each other. But I've been loving the Game of Thrones palette this year, and also the Beetlejuice one, which I forgot to bring with me because I'm an idiot. But the palette was alright, but this palette was really great. I mean, these are the tones that all work so well for me. This is the, I think it's, yeah, it's the Mother of Dragons palette, and I felt that the collab itself was fine. Like there's been I think there's been a few Game of Thrones one now. I really like the was it Urban Decay? No, yeah, Urban Decay that came out with the one with the throne that popped up, and I really loved that palette, but it like mold started growing on it, so I obviously discarded it. But then when you think of this one in the affordability aspect of it, I think the palette is like £12. I really think it's good, and it gives off a lot of, especially the red tones give off a lot of pigment, and I've been really enjoying it. Next I'll talk about Vive, because I finally tried this. I got this part of a box on Cult Beauty with a couple of other products that I really liked, but I really like, because I used this for work the other day. I always tend to use the same kind of shade, so I go for cozy, and I go for buff and some of the shimmers, although I wouldn't have paid full price for this. So I've been umming and ahhing about buying this palette for ages. I've seen some mixed reviews, I've seen some good reviews. I went to a pop-up shop, picked up like the skin dew and the lip oil, which I really love. But when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, I think, because this is normally about £46 or maybe more than that, although the pans are massive, and of course it probably is worth it because it's quite a heavy one, and you've got a leather kind of case to it as well. I feel like it's probably a bit too expensive for like an indie brand, kind of one of the first collections. I do want to try her, I think it's her Muse palette, one where it's got some purples in there. That looks gorgeous, but I do really enjoy this palette. I just don't think I would buy it at its full price, if that makes any sense. I'm going to talk about a palette that is not from this year, but I've been using it like non-stop, and it is the Melt Cosmetics Love and Butterflies palette. I kept the box even though it's completely just broken, but I've been using this so much. I don't know what it is with me. When I've been going to work and like getting up, like if I'm on a late shift, then I'll put on my makeup. If I'm on an early, absolutely not. But I've been using this palette so much, and I remember in the beginning I gave it a mixed review, because honestly at the time I was kind of like, I don't feel like this palette is that great. Now I use this so much. I tend to use the same shimmers, like the same kind of shadow, so I go for like these ones on the end and occasionally go for the green. But I'm so in love with this palette. I do like the new Zodiac one. I didn't want to put it in my favorites because I've only tried it once, and I don't want to put it in my favorite if I've only used it maybe once, especially for an eyeshadow palette, because I feel like I need to give it a couple more goes to see if it will really, if it's worthy of being a favorite basically. So now we'll go on to NYX. So this is the Ultimate Shadow palette, and I've been using this a lot. I've basically loved all of the shadows, because I recently been doing a lot of kind of like nude tones, and I really like just it looking neutral and just kind of just a nice standard look, and I feel like this palette gives me that. Like I don't have a lot of nude tone palettes. I tend to purchase palettes that are very colourful, and that will give me multi-use. But if I want a day where I'm just kind of doing something nice and simple, I think this is perfect. I don't know what's rattling in there, that's very odd. I don't know if hopefully I haven't broken anything. Anyway, let's talk about some indie brands before I get on to like the last two big ones. So I want to talk about V Cosmetics, because of course they came out with the second Cradle of Filth palette. This is the Resistance is Futile, and Cradle of Filth, like I've mentioned, are one of my favorite bands. If you haven't heard of them and you're not into heavy or black metal, I do not think you should listen to them, because you would be like, what the fuck is that? But I just was so excited for this collection because, well, I'm not gonna say collection, but for the shadow palette, because the first one was amazing. I've tried this out a couple of times on my channel, and honestly these shadows just here are absolutely perfect. That black tone is amazing. Like I've used it quite a few times if I want to make a look be a bit more stunning and out there. And although this palette could do with a bit more kind of color, I feel like if you have that first palette you have a lot of color as well. So this is great for just your kind of everyday kind of looks, and the purple in there is fantastic as well, so I absolutely love it. Next I want to talk about Lois Cosmetics. So they came out with Meet Me at Midnight palette. So this is an absolutely stunning palette. I did use it in one of my TikTok videos recently, and I did, what look did I do? I can't remember. I think I did a purple look. I think I used like these 2 shades here, and I absolutely loved it. This palette is extremely colourful and gorgeous, so if you're looking for an independent palette, a brand to support, like especially a female owned palette, and you just want something that's going to rock your world, I think this is amazing. And then the Meet Me in the Underworld palette, which last year was one of my favourites. It's the green eyeshadow palette, and it just has some amazing gorgeous tones in there, and this is a great kind of second version. So obviously that was Meet Me in the Underworld, this is Meet Me at Midnight, so you've got kind of a mixture of green tones, and you got some very colourful ones, and the packaging itself is stunning. They also came out with some liquid eyeshadows. So this is the Easy Rain in the shade Kingdom. So this is a gorgeous like green shimmer that I love, because I rarely use liquid eyeshadows because they would just always crease on me, because again, like I mentioned, my eyelids are very oily, but this is super stunning. I'm just going to quickly give that swatch there, and it dries down so quick, and it for me doesn't crack, doesn't move, and again is super affordable. I think they're about maybe £8-9, and it is, yeah, it doesn't like bunch up and become really horrible. And they also came out with some lip glosses which are stunning as well, so absolutely love that. Next we'll talk about Look. So this is the big boy, one of the big boys I was talking about. I recently picked this up, I think it was during Black Friday, but just the one time I used it, I've fallen in love with it. I'm going to do maybe some more looks on my channel, because I really want to use some of these at the bottom and maybe some of the new tones at the top. But I think I got this for like maybe £10, less than £10, and it's normally worth about £30-40. And Look isn't a brand I've tried a lot of. I've tried one of their other palettes, really great. I need to try more, but this was an absolutely stunning palette, especially for the price I paid. Highly recommend. The last eyeshadow palette I want to talk about is my P. Louise Watch the Queen Conquer. So I have used this a lot this year. Only problem that I have with this one and then the Money Shot one is how bulky they are. I speak about that so much, but this is the absolutely stunning, oh, you see my kitchen, absolutely stunning colourful side, and of course this is a very colourful side as well. I don't know what my favourite side is, I love both of them, but again, this is such a bulky palette and it does take up a lot of space, but the shadows are amazing, they're so pigmented. And the thing is, if you're on TikTok or even on her website, they're always on sale, especially this one now because the Money Shot palette is out, and they've brought out a lot of new palettes recently because of Black Friday. I really recommend picking up this palette. It's definitely, again, a bigger one, but if you have the space for it and if you kind of like a very colourful eyeshadow palette, I highly recommend this one. One more thing that I did want to mention was Color Cosmetics. So I've only picked up one thing because number one, it's so expensive, but number two, I now know why it's so expensive. So this is one of their eye potions, I think they're called, and it's basically a single like duochrome eyeshadow, and I'm sorry that's so noisy, but yeah, this is in the shade, I think it's called Storytime, and I did do a video recently like makeup that I don't normally do, and so I put down a black eyeshadow base and I put this on top, and it is the most stunning eyeshadow look I've probably ever done. And it's a duochrome of a green and purple, and yes, it is very expensive. I bought one because I wanted to test it out, see what it was like. It's worth it, and because they're an independent brand, I don't think they ever really do big sales. So during Black Friday they had bundles. They have a new eyeshadow palette out which is about £60, and it's just got 4 shadows. I mean, I look at the swatches and stuff and yeah, it's amazing, but I cannot justify £60 for something like that. So maybe in the future I'll pick up another one of these, but in the meantime I think this is absolutely stunning. If you have the funds to kind of test out something like this and you want your mind to be blown, this is it. This is so damn good. So now we're going to go on to lips, and this is in, again, no particular order because I'm kind of fussy when it comes to my lip products. So I have some liquid lipsticks. I have two kind of like bullet lipsticks. So the first one I've been appreciating is the Lisa Eldridge lipstick. So this I picked up when I went to her pop-up in Covent Garden, and this is in the shade New Wave. So this is a stunning purple, because I thought to myself, I don't have enough alternative look colors. So I have a lot of reds, have a lot of nude tones, but purple, I absolutely love this. It is so comfortable on the lips, and the packaging is so bougie, and again, it's not affordable. I think the lipstick itself is maybe £26 or something like that. It's within the £20 range, and at the time I was like, I'm gonna treat myself and buy something, and I'm very happy that I did, because maybe in the future I will try a lot more of her products. I tried a sample of her foundation, which I really liked. I just need to buy one to use on a regular basis, and I definitely want to try her eyeshadows because they look amazing. So hopefully next year I will pick one up. Another bullet lipstick I want to talk about is Rare Beauty. So I picked up this mini kit from Space NK, and this is the Kind Word Lip Duo. So I don't really have many pencils that I want to talk about, but I might as well just mention it because this comes together. So the lipstick itself is stunning. It's in the shade Humble. So I will not, I mean, I probably will go through this very soon, but it's so cute and it's so stunning that I really want to try more of her lipsticks. But Rare Beauty, I think next year I will try as much as I can, because I love Selena and I love just the brand itself. It's so good. All the products I've tried, again, like I mentioned in my last video, the blush was one of my favorite blushes. I have it on today. It's stunning. So this little kit is like £19, but individually, if you buy the full size, I know the lipstick is £19 and the lip liner is 18. It's such an odd price, but maybe in the future I will pick up a full size of the lipstick. But I just like how comfortable it is. It's so pigmented, lasts a really long time. That's all I can really say about lipsticks, in all honesty. And going on to liquid lipsticks, I have one of her liquid lipsticks essentially that came part of her Selena's favorites. This is in the shade Inspire. So my eyes, it's so tiny I can't see, but this is really comfortable. It's very like souffle-esque, if that's the word, and again, it's not like, it does transfer slightly, so it's not the most kind of like stay on lipstick, but it's super duper nice. And the sample is so cute. It's not a sample, but the mini is so cute. It will take me ages to go through it. Next we're going to talk about Sephora. So I finally tried some Sephora makeup. If you saw my video, I had a couple of hoo-has with the foundation. They ran out of my shade, even though I literally ordered it on the day of launch, and it took them ages to deliver to me. But I picked up the lipstick. I've been using this a lot. It's in the shade Blood Moon. It is absolutely stunning. It stays on all day and makes my lips look really plump and kind of bigger than they actually are, and it is very comfortable. So now talk about the Maybelline lip vinyl. So I like this a lot, but it's always super tacky on my lips, and I don't love that. But I like the longevity that this does, because this does last all day. What shade is this? This is in the shade Wicked, and again, it's a red one. Surprise, surprise. But I really like the way that it doesn't budge on my lips. But again, I think I could do without the tackiness, and that's maybe one thing I would improve on. And it's got a nice kind of like shaker to it, so if it's settled, you just shake it and it would be just as amazing. So that's great. And then the last lipstick that I have on today is my NYX, no, it's my NARS, I don't know why I call it NYX, it's my NARS powder matte in the shade Dragon Girl. So I have it on, hope you can see it. It's just gone super dark outside, I'm so sorry. But if you see my next video where I try it on, spoilers, I will be using this lipstick. It just feels so comfortable, it doesn't budge, and it's really, really stunning. And the last two things I want to talk about is some setting sprays. So they're both by NYX, but I've got the plump finish and the matte finish, and they both are amazing on my skin. They make my skin feel like hydrated, and my makeup stays on all day. So that is it. So now, before you can't see me, I thought I would just turn my lights on just to do the outro so you can actually see me, because it is gone so foggy outside. But I want to thank you guys for watching my videos this year. I really appreciate it. Like I mentioned, subscribe, because my next video will be me putting on this makeup and creating this look using the products that I found to be my most favorite of the year. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because I film and upload every time I get a chance to. Don't forget to follow me on any of my social medias, because I'm always active on there, and you find out when my new videos are being uploaded. And take care, guys. I hope to see you soon. Bye.